almost got the speculative question of what is the role of human values, do you think, insofar as it generates or affects well-being?
I think that's a really interesting question. For me, values are the foundation for human action and human consciousness. And very often we take so much for granted that we aren't aware that we're acting in a way that isn't even consistent with what we think, or what we think we might think. But there are a number of areas in which I think values can help us create well-being in a very simple way. If you look at the different traditions, the ancient traditions, whether it's Taoism, whether it's the origins of the Christian tradition or the Judaic tradition, you can look at some of the principles which are about respecting and maintaining the foundation for quality of life and respect for people, place and planet. One particular interesting and simple perspective is that of Rudolf Steiner, who suggested that there are only three powers in the world. One was the materialist power of force in whatever way, and we've kind of culturally adapted that now to include money. And another force in the world, according to Steiner, was cleverness or wisdom. And the third force for Steiner was love. And in his model, the highest outcomes can only come if the first two powers are subservient to love. Because the interesting thing about love is it can't be increased or decreased, it either is or it isn't. Whereas power and wisdom can be used for self-interest. Love cannot. And if, in terms of the leadership of our families, ourselves and our communities and businesses, we can align our bodies and minds with our heart, then perhaps the highest outcomes for well-being can emerge. So in terms of values, a whole range of values could be encapsulated in those three principles. Not just religious values, but the best humanitarian secular values, I think, would be congruent with those principles. In terms of the possibilities of integrating a new perspective on well-being, we have to be able to not only look at the individual subjective and objective measures of well-being, we also have to look at individual and collective contributions to well-being, and also what those are in terms of maintaining the milieu in which well-being can grow and develop and be maintained. And that is about the foundation of well-being, which to me is the network or the community in which well-being can flourish for us all. And there is a major contribution, it seems to me, to a new level of integration that civil society can make in terms of creating a matrix within which individual and collective well-being can flourish. So, as Satish Kumar said, we cannot have well-being alone. We cannot have well-being in isolation. So the questions are, how can we create a multifaceted perspective that can deal with all the aspects of individual and collective well-being, that includes the whole and that allows human flourishing to take place. And that's not going to be based on self-interest, it's not going to be based on institutions doing it for us. The human being is designed for challenge. We are designed for creativity, and we're designed to meet those challenges and to become conscious of who we truly are. and what our purpose is, not just for ourselves and our families and our communities, but for the world and for the planet and eventually for the cosmos. So Wellbeing asks some very big questions of us all. Okay.
Very nice.